Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for the little delay. We're trying to get this all situated. We'll get started in a minute as soon as everybody has joined. Good afternoon, everyone. We are going to get started in just a minute. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the End-User IT Outsourcing Services Vendor Pre-Solicitation Conference. We are glad to have you with us today. Before we get started, let's cover a couple of housekeeping items. Just a reminder that you can change your audio by switching between computer and phone. We want to remind everybody that everybody is muted this morning, but if you have questions or if you have something to address with the group, please open your Q&A box and put your questions in there, and we'll take time to answer those as we go today. But before we get started, if you would, please raise your hands real quick and let us know that you can hear us pretty clearly this afternoon so we have a good audio connection. Thank you for that. Also, we will be making a handout available after the webinar ends today. Here are the speakers today. We have Stephanie Harrison, Director of Cooperative Procurement, Marie Cohan, Statewide Digital Accessibility Officer, Teresa Williamson, our BOC Director, and Tuvan Hoon, our Procurement Lead. The agenda today, we're going to go over the RFO, which is going to be the RFO overview, the RFO contents, RFO scope, evaluation criteria, term of contracts, schedule, Texas Government Code 2161 form, digital accessibility, general information, Tech for Texas overview, mandatory submissions. Then we'll be taking about a 10-minute break. If time permits, we'll have questions and then conference closing. Now I'll be passing it over to Tuvan.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending today's pre-bid conference for end-user IT outsourcing services solicitation. My name is Tu Van Huynh, and I'm the procurement lead for this RFO. Next slide. Thank you. The objective of this request for offer is to solicit responses from potential respondents to provide end-user IT outsourcing services for the cooperative program master contracts to customer, acting by and through the Department of Information Resources. This solicitation is for services only. DIR is not soliciting these services for the agency. DIR may make multiple awards from this RFO. This is the rebid of the RFO DIR CPO TMP 442. Next slide, please. Each year, state agencies and other public organizations relied on DIR to help find and purchase technology products and services. In fiscal year of 2025, customers purchased over $3 billion worth of products and services through cooperative contracts, and over 27 million are from end-user IT outsourcing services sales. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. There are 11 required exhibits and 4 attachments in this RFO. I will go over each one of them in the following slides. Next, please. Next, please. Exhibit A, Respondent Certification Form. This form must be filled out in its entirety and signed by an officer or an agent empowered to contractually bind the respondent. Complete the cancel contract references if applicable. Exhibit A1 is the exceptions table. If you have exceptions, instructions are in the RFO section 3.7.3.5. Please note that you may be disqualified if your exceptions are excessive. Exhibit B is the respondent history and experience form. This is a score document. You must provide a detailed response to each question detailing your history and experience in providing the products and services proposed. Next, please. Exhibit C is the contract marketing and customer support plan. This is also a score document. You must provide a plan that describes your ability and strategy for promoting and supporting the contract if awarded. Exhibit D is the Texas Government Code 2161 form. Follow the instruction from the RFO to download the latest copy. Exhibit E is the reference form. You send this form to a minimum of 3 companies or government agency. You as a vendor cannot return this form to DIR with your response. This form must be emailed to the email address provided on the form by your customer. Although references are not required, however, it will help your score. Therefore, I strongly recommend you get references. This is part of your Exhibit E score. I apologize, Exhibit B score. Next. Exhibit F is the respondent release of liability. For each entity that an Exhibit E reference form is sent to, you shall also submit with their response a signed Exhibit F, the response release of liability. Exhibit G is an aggregate certification form. You must provide the aggregate certification form as requested in Section 3.5.1 Federal Requirements of the RFO. Exhibit H, I, and J are digital accessibility forms. Marie will go over these forms during the digital accessibility sessions. She will go over how to complete it and what need to be completed on that form. Next, please. Next, please. RFR scope. DIR intended to contract with successful respondents to provide end-user IT outsourcing services. This RFO is for services only. The individual sales of hardware and software outside of a service packet are not within the scope of this solicitation. It is respondents' responsibility to ensure that proposed products and services fall within the RFO's defined scope. DIR may modify the scope of this RFO through an addendum posted on the Electronic State Business Daily, ESBD, which is also the respondent's responsibility to monitor and make any necessary adjustments to its response. The RFO outlines specific service categories. With each category, we are providing you with sample functionality of what it covers. The examples provided within this category are illustrative, not exhaustive. Any services that fits the general definition of a category is considered in scope. Implicit in all service category is the requirement for the necessary skills to deliver acceptable outcomes and services to the customer. Next slide, please. Services are grouped into 5 different categories. Some of the functions listed in each of the category can overlap, meaning it could fit in another category, but for the evaluation purposes, they are being listed as shown. And respondents will identify the category that they are proposing according to how they are listed and identified. The category or end-user IT end-user IT management services, ITSS management, desktop outsourcing and management service, integrated IT and facility support, and miscellaneous services. Correct. Yes. So we are there were 12 slides contain sample functionality of each categories, which is on the RFO, and this presentation will be posted to DIR YouTube channel and the ESBD. So I'm leaving that to you for review it later, and that is why you see Patricia pass forward that 12 slides earlier. And now we're at the out of the scope. So what's considered out of scope for this RFO? Products and services that are not advertised in this RFO in their NIGB commodity codes table on the table page of this RFO. The custom application development services. Deliverable-based information technology services, the DBITS, cloud broker services, cloud assessment services, professional or consultant services as defined in Chapter 2254 of the Texas Government Code. Products identified on the state of Texas prohibited software application developers or manufacturer list posted on our DIR website. Telecommunication services, including any telecommunication services offered in a contract awarded by DIR under a Texas agency network, the Texan procurement, those out of the scope of this RFO. Next slide, please. Evaluation criteria. Next slide, please. Pass or fail criteria are what we review first, the administrative review. That's where we start first. If you fail to complete and sign the Exhibit A, that will be automatic disqualification. Missing a blank PDIA self-assessment that may disqualify you from moving forward to the evaluation phase. Not complete your Texas Government Code 2161 form and sign. That's also a fail. So therefore, it is important that the Exhibit A fill out completely and signed by an officer. Provide an accurate DUNS number and make sure the DUN in the Bradstreet corporate address matches the address on the Exhibit A principal place of business. This information is required for us to conduct your financial review. Next slide, please. Some important highlights about the RFO section 4.2.1, evaluation of responses. Incomplete response packet will be rejected. The financial review and the Texas Government Code 2161 form review are on a pass-or-fail basis. Failure to provide a DUNS number may result in your response being disqualified. Only responses that receive the passing grade will proceed to the next evaluation phase. As I mentioned earlier, that Exhibit B and C are scored documents. It is important that you pay attention to the question and provide a detailed response to that question. Exhibit B worth 40% of the score. Exhibit C worth 60%. And on their Exhibit C, we have two parts. First, part one is the marketing plan. The have a strategy and a concrete plan to support our customer, if awarded. Next, please. When evaluating the Exhibit B and C, DIR will only consider information submitted with the response form. Any information provided outside the response, such as web pages, links, or information included by reference, will not be considered. This also includes marketing materials, which are not allowed to be submitted as part of your response. DIR's evaluation of respondents' history and experience may include consideration of respondents' performance as recorded in their CPA vendor performance tracking system that described in the Texas Administrative Code 34 TIC 20.115. Next, please. Next, please. DIR anticipate the term of the contract is 2 years with one optional 2-year renewal and one optional 1-year renewal. As DIR discretion, we may extend the contract for up to 90 days under the same term and conditions. Next, please. Next, please. The solicitations schedule as follow. We already published the solicitations, and today is the optional webinar. The next deadline is December 9, 2025. Is the deadline for submitting your questions. The deadline to receive for DIR to receive your references and for submitting your response to the RFO is January 21st, 2026 at 2 p.m. Central Time. The evaluations of responses, negotiation, and contract execution begins February 4th, 2026 until completed. Next slide, please. I am now turning this over to our Business Outreach Coordination Office. Thank you.
Thank you, Van. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Teresa Williamson. I'm the Director of the Business Outreach Coordination Office. Next slide. So let's talk about subcontracting. All vendors will complete a Texas Government Code 2161 form, also known as your subcontracting plan. Please visit the link that's provided for the most current approved copy of the subcontracting plan. Please do not modify this document. It is an editable copy. Next slide. All respondents are required to submit a completed, signed subcontracting plan. Failure to submit a completed, signed subcontracting plan will cause your response to be rejected. This is a pass or fail item. There are 3 ways to complete your subcontracting plan. The first is to self-perform. Second is to meet or exceed the hub goal. And the third is to not meet the hub goal. Next slide. The hub goal set for this RFO is 26%. If your proposed subcontracting meets or exceeds the hub goal set for this RFO, you'll complete Method A. So you'll complete sections 1, 2, 4, and your Method A, Attachment A. Be sure to identify all vendors that you will be subcontracting with. If you're going to subcontract below the hub goal, you'll complete Method B with Attachment B. Be sure to solicit again a minimum of 3 hub certified companies and 2 trade organizations. You must allow them 7 working days to respond to you prior to the due date of this RFO. Include your outreach to these entities with your subcontracting plan submission. So you will complete sections 1, 2, 4, and your Method B, Attachment B. When completing your good faith effort outlined in section B3, please allow yourself plenty of time to complete it correctly. We will provide you with a courtesy review of your subcontracting plan. And last but not least, if you'll be self-performing, you'll complete sections 1, 2, 3, and 4. In your self-performing justification, you identify how your company will fulfill a contract with its own staff, equipment, and resources. Please do not say that you will subcontract in the future, or if you need to, please just tell us how you plan to self-perform. Next slide. Our contact information is listed here. Please remember that your subcontracting plan is a pass or fail document. We will provide you with a courtesy review of your subcontracting plan prior to the due date of the RFO as time permits. Please contact us no later than 10 days prior to the due date of this RFO. Your BOC office, that's your Business Outreach Coordination Office, we're here to assist you in completing your subcontracting plan correctly. When you reach out to us, please remember to copy to Van, the procurement lead, on all correspondence. Thank you. Turn it over to Marie.
Thank you, Teresa. This is Marie Cohan. I'm the statewide digital accessibility officer, and I'm going to go over the accessibility requirements and forms. Next slide, please. So a little bit about digital accessibility in Texas. Digital accessibility is the practice of designing and building technology that removes barriers for people with disabilities. We don't want our technology to prevent interaction between our Texans and our websites, our digital tools, and any of our other technologies. This includes products, services, communications, and related supporting documentation or deliverable documents. This is covered under Texas Government Code 2054, Subchapter M. It applies to state agencies and institutions of higher education in Texas. It's also covered under Texas Administrative Codes 206 and 213. And we also follow the World Wide Web Consortium WCAG level 2.1 AA. Vendors are required to provide accessibility documentation at the time of request. So you may be asked in the future, if you get an executed contract through DIR, one of our customers may ask you for documentation, and we ask that you please provide it at that point in time. With this, you may hear electronic and information resources or information and communications technology. Those all fall under the umbrella of digital accessibility. Next slide, please. So I'm going to go over 3 documents. We're going to go over the policy-driven adoption for accessibility vendor self-assessment. We're going to go over the vendor accessibility development services information request, and we'll go over the accessibility conformance report. Next slide, please. The policy-driven adoption for accessibility, or PDAA, is a self-assessment. This is a required document. If it's missing, has a score of 0. If it's incomplete, it will be an automatic fail for the accessibility section. Your procurement manager or procurement lead will reach out to you at that point in time. This is a self-assessment of the responding organization. So it has nothing to do with the product or service in your response. This is a questionnaire to help us understand how your organization, whoever is responding, understands digital accessibility, how you incorporate digital accessibility into your own business practices, your own development life cycles or project management life cycles, etc. The form is in Excel format. We ask that you use the form that we provide. You will score each of the questions a 0, 1, 2, or 3. Please do not put any other symbols or marks or characters in those fields. Only put a 0, 1, 2, or 3 so that the form will properly add everything together at the end and give you a final score. Again, this is a required document. It is a self-assessment of the responding organization, not about your product or your service. If it is incomplete, 0, or missing, it will be a failing score. Next slide, please. So I mentioned that the PDAA helps us understand where your organization is when it comes to digital accessibility. This is an example of the PDAA maturity matrix. So the first column has the questions from the form, and then these are the 3 levels that follow. So you may be in an early or launch stage of accessibility practices. You may be at a more intermediate or integrated stage, of accessibility practices, or you may be much more advanced and have optimal accessibility practices within your organization. The PDAA is adopted by NASIO. So this is this is a document that is used nationwide by other states. It's not just unique to Texas. Next slide, please. So next we'll talk about the Accessibility Conformance Report. This is also known as a completed VPAT. A VPAT, which is a common industry term, is a template that you will use, and it will be included in your packet. If your response has any type of product at all that has any kind of user interface, you will need to submit an accessibility conformance report. We request that you use VPAT version 2.4 or higher to complete. We ask that you ensure that it's been tested at WCAG 2.1 AA. And we also ask that these be pretty current, so maybe within the last 2 to 3 years. If we get an old accessibility conformance report, let's say greater than 3 years old, or it was used on an older VPAT version, we will probably fail the evaluation or score it very low. So please ensure that you're using a more updated version, that your product has gone through recent testing, and then that it's at WCAG 2.1 AA. When you test your product, please test it using different testing methodologies. So you can run an automated scan on a product. You can test a product with assistive technology. You can do some manual testing on it to understand how it conforms to the different WCAG success criteria. That is what we're looking for. If your product does not fully support a particular success criteria, we ask that you complete the explanation field so that we can understand what that gap is and how we can work with that gap. Next slide, please. This is an example of the success criteria and the different standards for WCAG 2.1 AA. It's broken into the 4 core principles. We want to ensure our technology is perceivable. We want it to be operable, understandable for anyone with a cognitive issue. And then we want it to be robust, that it works across many different platforms. Again, you will be testing your product to see how it conforms to these different success criteria. Filling in the testing methodology of general product knowledge is not going to score this very well for your evaluation. So please do try to get it tested. If you are a reseller and you're submitting any kind of product that you have to work with the product manufacturer, please try to work with them directly to get the ACR from them to ensure that they actually have done some real good testing on their product. Next slide, please. Again, these are the different conformance levels. So when you test your product, it'll support the success criteria. It may support it with some exceptions or may partially support. If this is the response, then we ask that you please provide an explanation so we can understand what the gap is and how we can work around the gap. It may not support it for a specific reason. That's fine. Just let us know. It may not be applicable, or it may not need to be evaluated. We do not require anything at the AAA level. So that would be an example of not evaluated. Next slide, please. Okay, so now we'll talk about the services side of the response. So if your response does not have a product, or maybe it does have a product and it also has a development service component, you will fill out this vendor accessibility development services information request. This can also be filled out if we're talking about providing any kind of developers on a future engagement. We will need to have this filled out at that point in time as well. And so this is specific to development only. Again, we want to ensure our developers understand WCAG level 2.1 AA. These are some examples of development projects, website development, any kind of application development, any kind of customized like configuration that's enough that it's going to impact the user interface. Those all are within scope for this particular form. Next slide, please. So the VADSR has a few questions on it. I'm going to go through them very high level just to make sure they're very clear. We ask that you provide as much explanation as possible when answering those questions. The more detail you can provide, it helps us really understand your practices when it comes to development services and your understanding of the digital accessibility requirements. So the first question is going to ask about your internal development and project management process and the stages, how you incorporate digital accessibility there. We're going to ask the next question for developer training. So we're going to look for what kind of resources and topics your developers have been trained with regard to digital accessibility. The third question is going to ask about your development and testing tools. We would really like to understand what types of tools you're using, what types of methodologies you're employing when you are doing that development or testing process. The more detail you can provide, the better. The fourth question is going to ask about documenting, tracking, and resolving issues and defects. So what kind of processes do you have in place for that? What kind of tools are you using to track those defects and remediate those defects? So please provide as much explanation as you can there. And then the fifth question is going to ask for support for non-compliance. So in the event that a defect does come up and one of our customers is not able or a Texan is not able to access something with that tool, that application, that website, what kind of support is in place to work around or to help that particular user. And then lastly, we do have a section in there for sample work. We do understand that not everyone can provide a sample of their prior work with another customer. Maybe there's some, non-disclosure or proprietary information there. So in the event that you are not able to turn in a sample, we will go to your website and do an audit of a homepage and maybe in one other page on your website just to get an idea of your understanding of web development and development in general with regard to accessibility. Next slide, please. We have a lot of resources on our website. Most of these are also included in the solicitation packet once that's released. Next slide, please. And you are welcome to reach out to us if you need help with anything or have any other questions. Please always copy the procurement lead on any communications with us. I prefer if you do not call us because then the procurement lead will not be on that particular call. So just email this statewide accessibility@dir.texas.gov, and Texas is spelled out, and copy the procurement lead. And we're happy to answer any questions that you have. And if you need a courtesy review of your VADSR, we can do that for you as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marie. Next slide, please. When submitting your questions before December 9, please provide the RFO page number and section number. And this webinar participant may submit questions electronically at any time during the webinar. Please use the question tab. Questions answered today are unofficial until posted on the ESPD in the form of an addendum. Check the ESPD often for updates. All questions regarding the RFO must be submitted in writing through the Text for Texas by December 9th, 2025 at 5 p.m. Central Time. Next, please. During the negotiations phase, the state of Texas uses the NIGP code, the National Institute for Governmental Purchasing, commodity codes to categorize goods and services. This helps public procurement professionals accurately identify interested vendors. If selected for negotiation, it is important that the respondents select all applicable NIGB codes for their offer, as Texas agency will use them to accomplish competitive bidding. The list of available NIGB codes for this RFO can be found on page 2 of the RFO and will be made available for selection after respondent moves to the negotiation phase. Next, please. As discussed earlier in the presentation, the information you provide on the Exhibit A is critical to your submission moving forward. The data must match your Texas Secretary of State registration, Duns and Bradstreet record, and text for Texas. Next, please. What information must match? The company legal name, including DBA that is legally registered, including punctuation, the company corporate address, the company VIN number, and the company DUNS number. Next, please. Pay attention to the naming convention listed when submitting your response. The ABC means your company name, your company's name, 3 initials. The PDAA, we had it on the RFO, is in a format of a Word doc. That will be corrected through an addendum 1. You know, when we have that available. The PDA must be submitted in an Excel format. This will be corrected, again, this will be corrected through an addendum 1. Next, please. We mentioned this on the RFO, and I want to make sure I mention it again, and I'm pretty sure, I believe Teresa mentioned it earlier. Respondents and all respondent representatives shall not attempt to discuss the content of this RFO with any employees or representatives of DIR other than designated contact, which is myself. Failure to observe this restriction may result in disqualification of any related response. So please don't reach out to anyone. If you have any question, please contact me. Next, please. And here's the information, who to contact, of course. Any inquiry regarding to RFO, you contact me to Van Huynh. If you have any questions regarding to Tax for Texas, please contact Stephanie Harrison. For Texas Government Code 2161 form, please contact Teresa Williamson or dir.brc@dir.texas.gov, our business outreach coordinations office. Next, please. Now I'm turning over to Stephanie Harrison to go over the Tax for Texas.
Give us just a minute. We might be having some mic issues.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry about that. Next slide, please. The Tech for Texas system is a new system for submitting your responses to DIR. If you have previously submitted a response to DIR using our Bitstamp platform, that one is no longer functional for submitting responses for this RFO. You will need to create a new account to submit your response to the Tech for Texas system. If you are a current DIR vendor or have been a DIR vendor since the month of October, you more than likely already have an account that has been set up by a user within your agency that submits the monthly sales reports. You will need to reach out to them to get added to your agency's account. For everybody else, you're going to need to set up your Tech for Texas account prior to the due date and deadline for the submission of your RFO. To get to your Tech for Texas account, you're going to log in on the home page from the DIR's login page on the website. Click the username on the box in the screen, and then type in your password. This is after you've been added to the account. After typing in your username and password, you will be logged into the vendor homepage by default. Next slide. You'll click on the Opportunities tab. This will navigate you to the opportunities that are open and available to submit responses to. After selecting the Opportunities tab, you'll see a list of opportunities or postings available to you. Then you'll select the one that you wish to work with by clicking on the blue text next to the opportunity column. Next slide. You can use a filter option found towards the top of the user interface to sort. You have the option of saving that filter criteria for future use. If you do that, the filter will always display there for you to utilize. When you click on any of the column heads, you can sort the list in front of you. You can use the left navigation pane to navigate throughout the system. You can collapse or expand that navigation pane if you need more room on your screen. We do warn that because the dimensions of the screen are monitored, there may be columns or rows that are not displayed if you're not viewing full screen. So a lot of us like to split our screen, and you may be chopping off part of what you're actually supposed to see in the Tech for Texas format. So it's recommended to expand that to full screen so you're not missing any of the information on the page. Only 25 rows will be displayed at a time. There are arrow icons at the bottom that allow you to navigate to more line items. Slide, please. After you select the opportunity, you'll be routed to the summary page with the opportunity details. You'll want to note your interest, so you're going to click that button on the right, mark as interested. Once you've done this, you'll notice that the text for the button is changed to mark as uninterested if you want to deselect and quit receiving notices from that particular solicitation. Within the user interface, you'll notice that there are two options near the top of the screen in the banner select section. One is listed as questions and the other is messages. Messages can be sent to the DIR procurement lead at any time. Questions regarding the opportunity and your response must be submitted in a timely manner according to the specifications in the procurement materials. T-Ban went over the deadline, due date, deadline, and time for questions in a couple previous slides. Next slide. To submit questions one at a time, you can type your questions into the text box and click the submit button. You can also submit a list of questions and then hit the submit button as well. We ask that you separate out your questions and not chunk them all into one question submittal. So if you actually have 4 questions, that needs to be 4 lines of question and not one block of question. If you wish to send a message to the DIR procurement lead, navigate to the messages tab, click the compose message button and follow the prompts. Please note that the answers to questions will not be posted in Tech for Texas. They will only be posted in the addendum with the Q&A document as an official response. Vendors will not receive individual responses to their questions as one-offs. It will be one document that's posted as an addendum to the RFO in the Electronic State Business Daily. Next slide, please. Submitting proposals. You're going to select the proposal tab. There are multiple sections in this screen. So you have proposal documents, pricing information, and the offered NIGP codes. Please note that the button to upload a proposal or enter the pricing information are gray, but these are active links. Clicking them will navigate you to the screen where you'll be prompted to provide proposal documents and information. However, if the response due date and time has passed, you will not be allowed to submit proposal material. So that is actually the time in the RFO, which will be 2:00 p.m. Central Time on the due date that the response is due. At 2:01, that button will go away and you will not be able to submit any response documents, and we will not accept them by email. If you see some files or links already in the proposal document section, these are files that DIR has provided to you for reference. You can download by clicking the blue text in the form column. You'll be able to tell what's a template or reference material versus a file that you have to upload by the presence of a trash or recycle bin icon next to the form column. No icon indicates that the file was provided by DIR as a part of the opportunity, where the presence of a trash icon indicates it's a file that you uploaded. Next slide, please. And I just want to point out, for those that are trying to take notes on how to do all of this, there is a document that's an attachment to the RFO response that has all of these instructions already there for you. So don't worry about taking notes on these particular sections now, because it is a lot of information to process. And we have the instructions on how to create your account and how to submit a response as a part of the RFO document files. They are in the attachments. It is possible to upload multiple files at a time. When you're on the upload documents page, you can either select the upload like you're used to seeing on most platforms, or you can drag and drop files over into that area. Please be sure you're providing a description of the file that you're uploading in the form field located. Please mark which of the required proposal documents that you related to, and make sure that that's correct. We see a lot of files that get uploaded that are labeled a certain way, and then the vendor gets disqualified or a really low score for not submitting all the files because you think you've uploaded the correct file and you have not. You just mislabeled it. If you do not relate all of the uploaded documents to all of the required document types, you'll not be able to submit. You'll get an error, and it'll ask you to go back and complete the fields that need to be completed. Once you've uploaded all your files, you'll be navigated back and hit the upload button. You'll be navigated back to the proposals tab of the opportunity, and you can see all of the files you have uploaded. There'll be a trash can icon to delete or remove any files that you may have uploaded by mistake or any duplicate files. Next slide, please. Entering the pricing information. So for this particular solicitation, your pricing information may not be by particular brands, as you're providing leased equipment or you're using customer-owned equipment. However, if you have items in here that are priced out by line item, you can import the add lines, which is actually adding individual lines singularly, or you can import lines, which is taking a group of information from your Excel spreadsheet and it imports the whole thing over for you. The trick to that is that it has to be the same naming convention as what we have in the categories for the pricing information. Again, it's highly recommended that you expand, especially this page, out to the full page size instead of trying to split screen, as you may be missing fields that are required for your pricing information. When you complete the pricing information, you're going to click Save at the bottom, and it will navigate you back to the Proposals tab of the opportunity. Next slide. This is the NIGP codes for the opportunity. They will list the NIGP codes that are associated, that were posted with the opportunity, and from those you can select the NIGP codes that your agency intends to provide as a part of the response to the opportunity. You can select more than one, and you can hit Add Selected, and you can continue to do this until you've added all of the NIGP codes that you would like to add. If you need to remove any, you would click the checkbox beside the NIGP code and click Remove Selected. Once you've finished with this page, click Update. Next slide. And then you'll also see the list of NIGP codes that are offered on this opportunity. You're going to scroll down a bit on the list, and you'll see what DIR has selected for this particular opportunity. You can update the NIGP codes at any time prior to your submission. Next slide, please. Once you've uploaded all of your proposal documents that are labeled, you will notice a new button that is labeled Submit Proposal that appears on the Proposal tab interface. You can click Submit Proposal, and then that status will change to your status will change to Submitted, with the date and timestamp of your submission will be shown. If you do not submit your proposal, DIR will not receive it on our end. So even if you upload all the documents, we will never see it unless you hit that Submit Proposal button prior to the due date and time that your proposal is due. If after submitting the proposal you would like to make any edits, you are required to withdraw proposal and submit it again after editing. You can withdraw the proposal and files and information at any point in time, as many times as you wish, until the response due date has passed. So when you hit the withdraw proposal, it doesn't delete anything. It just takes it out of the platform where on our end, it shows that you submitted. So if you withdraw it to make edits, to changes, you have to hit submit proposal again in order for that to actually count as a submitted proposal. Your response due date and time reset with you withdraw and submit the proposal again. And next slide, and I believe I'm turning it back over to Van.
Thank you, Stephanie. Mandatory submissions. Next, please. What you absolutely have to submit with this solicitation. Exhibit A, completed and signed. Exhibit A, the cancel contracts. If you don't have any, send their attachment with the word NA. The Exhibit A1, if you have any exceptions requested, or you can provide a affirmative statement that you do not, that the respondent takes no exceptions. Exhibit B, the respondent history and experience. Exhibit C, the contract marketing and customer support plan. The Exhibit D, Texas Government Code 2161 form completed and signed. Exhibit F, the release of liability for the reference. Exhibit G, the AGR certification form. Exhibit H, the PDAA. Exhibit I, the ACR. The Exhibit J, if applicable, the VASR. And their signed addenda to their RFO. Next, please. DIR reserves the right to reject any and all responses received as a result of this RFO. Responses that do not comply with the mandatory submission requirements may be rejected. In addition, DIR reserves the right to accept or reject in whole or in part any responses submitted, to be waived minor technicalities when in the best interest of their state. I just need to give that disclosure out there. Next, please. Should we take a quick break before we get to the questions session?
Yeah, let's take a 10-minute break and we will start back up at 2:16.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for taking a 10-minute break. Let's answer some questions. This first one says, is digital language access along with accessibility tools for website visitors and on-site visitors considered end users?
Hey, Stephanie, we can't hear you.
Clarify that this solicitation is for services only. So it's not selling products, it's only selling services. The services can be, products can be bundled with the services package if you're leasing it, not a sale. So please read through the solicitation and see if it is within scope of the solicitation. There's multiple pages within the solicitation, but in and of itself, the accessibility tools will not be considered end user because those are standalone products. And this is not for products, this is for services only.
Okay, this one says, given that the comptroller has paused on hub certification renewals, and since our hub certification expiration is within the proposal review period, if we select section 1B as yes, we are State of Texas certified hub, which is true today, would our HSP pass-fail be affected if on the date of review of our hub certification has expired?
This is Teresa. You're actually going to list if you're hub certified as of the due date. So it's either yes or no. Are you hub certified as of the due date of this RFO?
Was it said that we can provide commercial references in addition to government references? Do the minimum 3 references need to be Texas references, or can they be from any government or school, K-12, higher ed, etc.?
It can be any. It doesn't have to be Texas references. It can be any government or school, and as well as the commercial references.
Is IT staffing or staff augmentation a part of the services listed under different categories? If yes, can we bid solely on the staff augmentation services?
It is not. IT staffing or staff augmentation is one of the exclusion from the RFO.
So in the Tech for Texas system, if we already have it submitted, but we need to edit something, as long as it's before the due time and date, can we make changes to our responses?
Yes, but you'll need to resubmit your proposal because it takes it out of our system on our end. So we would not know that you've submitted any proposal unless you show that the proposal has been submitted on your end.
Tech for Texas and Texas Smart Buy websites are not quite compliant with WCAG 2.1 AA, so what standards are we expected to follow?
So Texas has until April 24th, 2026 to meet those standards and be in compliance. However, if you need support, please contact the procurement lead or the CPA who manages Texas Smart Buy. Texas Smart Buy is not a DIR system. That is the comptroller system. That doesn't have anything to do with your submission of your response to the DIR website.
The Tech for Texas presentation mentioned pricing. Is pricing part of the evaluation criteria?
It is not. This is a service only RFO, so pricing is not part of the evaluation criteria. As Stephanie was mentioned earlier, because we also have this RFO also include the leasing. So if you have anything that you want us to take a look, you are welcome to input it under the pricing. You just have to add it manually, but pricing is not part of the evaluation criteria for this RFO.
Is the VPAT form required for this RFO? Is this RFO for services only?
If you're proposing any leased equipment or any customer facing equipment, or you're providing the that sort of thing under the one of the categories here, then yes, you would need to provide the VPAT form for those hardware products.
Okay, this one says, do we need to submit pricing?
Unmute. You do not. The pricing is not part of this RFO. So yeah, you do not need to submit pricing.
We are MBE certified by the North Central Texas Certification Agency, NCTRCA. Is that recognized in place of hub certification?
No, it is not. But you do not have to be hub certified to respond to this RFO.
Where is the Exhibit E reference form?
It is on the RFO package. If you go into the ESPD, it is there. If you log into the Text for Texas, it's also there too.
Section 2.1.2, what level/tier of help desk support will be required? On an average, what will be the number of tickets? It looks like they're the same person also asking if it's 24/7 support mandatory for the procurement.
If you're providing the help desk and support services in the RFO in section 2.1.2, that does require the mandatory 24/7 support. It depends on which services that you're offering to, that you're proposing to provide under the solicitation. You don't have to provide all of the services that are in a solicitation. You may provide part of the services, but if you are picking the services that require 24/7 support, then yes. The tickets, we don't have that count. That is, this RFO is for DIR customers to utilize. We have several thousand customers that utilize the contracts, and then the individual usage is based per customer, not directly under DIR.
Can we bid only for the 2.1.2 end user IT management services category?
Yes, you can. You can bid 1, 2, 3. You can bid them all.
Since pricing is not part of this RFO, can you please clarify whether DIR intends to qualify vendors first and then invite only the shortlisted vendors to submit pricing in the next phase?
No, pricing is not part. This is a service only. The pricing will not be part of this RFO. So therefore, is not, it will not be considered for advancing any vendor to the next phase.
So the pricing is not part of the evaluation. However, at the customer level, they may ask for quotes based off of a statement of work, and then they would evaluate or review the pricing and who's giving them the best price to provide the services. So since these are services that are built primarily off of a statement of work or a service level agreement, there's no way to do an apples to apples comparison for evaluation for pricing. And the fact that you can propose one or all of the categories, again, there's not a way to evaluate pricing, so we don't assign a value to that in our evaluation process. But once you're awarded a contract, at the customer level, they may look at what pricing you provide them as part of their quotes for any of the leased equipment or services.
All right, and that looks like all the questions that we have.
As a reminder, any questions answered today are unofficial until it's posted to the ESPD in the form of an addendum. Any changes or additional information regarding to this RFO will be posted as an addendum to the requisition number COP 2025 SOL-00003 on the ESPD. It is the responsibility of the vendor to monitor the ESPD website for addenda. Next slide, please. Again, this is a solicitation schedule. Please keep in mind the next deadline will be December 9th, 2025 at 5 p.m. Central Time. Submit all your questions by that time. The DIR respondent references and the responses must be submitted to DIR by January 21st, 2026 at 2 p.m. Central Time. And the evaluations of responses, negotiation, and contract execution will begin on February 4th, 2026, and until completed. Anything else? Next, please. All questions inquiry must be directed to me, to Van Huynh at dir.texas.gov. And we closing. Thank you.